In one word, how would you describe your comedy?
Manic.
Silly.
Reminisce, but kind of naughty and fun.
Musical.
Manic.
Shocking.
Eclectic. Art.
Indecisive.
Concise. Evolving.
Feel good. Weird. Fun.
Surreal.
Hilarious.
Serious. Pissed off.
Self-deprecating.
Brilliant.
Pubescent. Inane.
Surprising.
Stoner observation.
Oh, it's different.
Wordplay.
Incompetent.
Personal.
Energetic.
Conversational. Cheeky.
Chaos.
Underdog. Nerdy.
Tentative.
Yeah, question is, if you could ask your comic idol a question, who would it be and what would it be?
Wow, Jesus. That is a difficult question. It's choosing the idol as well, because I got about three. I would ask Bill Burr how to not care, not about comedy, but about perception of you on stage or off stage, just in general. Because Bill Burr can make jokes about politics or race or anything, but he does it in a specific way where he goes like, oh, I'm an asshole, but, and then he'll go on, and you know it's jokes because you know it's Bill Burr. He's not being racist, he's not being homophobic or anything. You see that by the joke punchlines themselves. But a lot of people, I think, that say wouldn't be used to his style would find that very like aggressive or misogynistic or whatever. But he just doesn't care. I mean, he did a show, I think, at Opie and Anthony in Philadelphia, and people had booed off Dom Herrera, and he just went on and insulted the audience. I'm not saying to do this, but he just went on and insulted the audience for 10 minutes because he was like, if you guys are going to boo off one of the best comedians I've ever known, you're not worthy of comedy. And he did that, and it didn't spoil his fan base at all. 10 minutes of just fuck you guys didn't spoil his fan base. He's still one of the biggest comics in America, and I would like to know how you can go on stage in a room full of 2,000 people and just be like, hey man, this is my job. If you guys don't like comedy, you're not here for comedy. Suck it.
Why are you dead? Or no, there's a few, to be honest. My first ever comic idol was Lee Evans. He was the first comedian that I learned like all of his jokes from his DVD. I was talk along to it when I was like 14, 15 or whatever. Maybe younger than that actually. I think I don't think I'd want to ask him anything though. I think I just want to talk to him. You know what I mean? But then people like Mitch Hedberg.
Well, I do musical comedy. My favourite musical actor are Flight of the Conchords, who I think they're like they're incredible, and I think a lot of people have seen like their show and stuff, which is great. But they're funniest when they're sort of stand up. When you see them doing their stand up musical act, they're absolutely brilliant. And I guess I would ask them, can I do backing in their next song?
I'm trying to think, because the problem is I like really silly little stupid bits of stand-up, and all the people who are of a status with which to revere them are doing things that I don't really do because they're proper, But I guess I'd ask Louis C.K. why he masturbated at those women. Have you heard about that? Yeah. I mean, like, the only thing that annoyed me about that really was that he hadn't brought it up on stage before, because you can't give that impression of being like, here's just who I am. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. This is my life. And it's like, why did you leave out wanking at women in hotel rooms, Louis? Because that's fascinating.
I would ask Lee Evans how he moves around this stage as much as he does, and keeps the jokes rolling.
What I don't have figured out yet is who I am up there.
Am I the angry guy? Am I the lovable loser? Am I the guy that you just are laughing along with? Am I the guy who maybe you don't really like that much because he talks about harsh topics? Am I the storyteller? Am I the one-liner? And I would really love to go to a Jerry Seinfeld or a Louis C.K. or a Dane Cook or a Chris Rock, right? These guys that have just such unique, distinct voices. Did that voice come to you naturally? Is that just how you sound up there? Because to me, I just sound like everybody else, and not in a good way. Like, it's not like I feel like I sound like all great comedians. And so maybe I just can't even hear my own voice. You know, like when you hear yourself played back on a tape recorder, maybe it's just so foreign to me. But that's what I would ask them, is this something that is going to happen naturally, or do I have to work at it?
I don't know if it would be specific, but it would be to the comics that the George Carlins and the Doug Stanhopes and the Maria Bamfords and the you know, to the people who were unique and made it, who got to the point where their audience was coming to see them and not just springing out on a room full of people. Did it ever get to the point where, you know, I wonder whether sometimes you don't know if you're funny anymore or if they're just laughing because you're who you are. And I wonder how do they avoid that? How do they stop? How do they know it's real? How do they know that, how does Doug Stanhope, for instance, not know that they're just letting him say anything he wants, not because, I mean, he has to be brilliant, but just because they're just letting him say it because they're there to see Doug Stanhope, as opposed to really making it hard on him. What's it like when it's not tough anymore? Because I don't know what it's like when it's not tough anymore. What's it like? I've played a few crowds that are there for me, and it's a definitely different feeling, but I'm not at that point now where I'm not filling out rooms full of people and stuff like that. So what's it like when it's not hard anymore? How do you exist as a stand-up? How do you get better as a stand-up without fighting?
He's not necessarily my comic idol, but Mark Thomas used to be one of the funniest comedians. He used to really, really make me laugh. And then he stopped doing comedy for the sake of comedy, and it was all about politics. And then he stopped being funny and became more of a political activist, which, you know, it's more meaningful, I suppose. But I'd like to, go back to before he did that, give him a slap and say, keep doing knob jokes. You don't have to, there's nothing wrong with a knob joke. So you keep doing it and stop trying to be intellectual.
Dylan Moran. And I think because he is so amazingly detailed and just perfectly structured, and I just listen to him for hours and hours and hours. I just ask him if he sold his soul to the devil for comedy abilities. That's what I'd ask.
But he's amazing, so I haven't really got any questions. I like to follow the cliche advice, you know, get better, not bitter, keep gigging, you know, things like never berate an audience, you know, if they don't get you, they don't get you, just move on. I don't know, with George Carlin, perhaps I'd ask him how he made the transition. That would be the question, because George Carlin used to do a lot of slapstick and sketch comedy and a lot of one-liners, and then he became the messiah of comedy, I suppose, best to describe it.
I really couldn't think of a better venue to perform it at, so I came here instead. I'm Lenny, and this is one of the best open mic nights in London. Yeah! And I consider it a real honour for you to watch me perform tonight. Now, I've been single a little while now, by choice, not mine, but my last girlfriend's. And I don't actually mind being single. It's given me the opportunity to pursue certain hobbies that I was neglecting while I was in a relationship. Namely wanking. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking now. Wanking doesn't really constitute a hobby. Technically you're right. I suppose it's more of a handicraft. I was actually talking to one of my Irish friends recently about wanking, and he was recalling his experiences in a Christian brothers-run boarding school in Ireland. And to stop the charges from wanking of a night time, they issued them with boxing gloves. Well, I suppose with all those Catholic priests around, it offers some protection in and around the ring. And if they needed to, they could actually knock one out. Now, the aforementioned ex, she was Polish, and as far as I know, she probably still is. And we watched a little porn together, and one night I was doing some research on porn, and I came across bukkake, not literally, but for those, do many people know what bukkake is? Yeah! For anyone in the crowd who doesn't know what bukkake is, it comes from the Japanese word, which is a colloquial expression, which literally translates as a painter's radio. Anyway, my girlfriend, she had a very limited grasp of English. In retrospect, that was part of the appeal.
I'd ask Eddie Izzard where he buys his clothes. If you asked me this like a couple of years ago, I may have had something more interesting to say in that. But I think I quite like discovering things on my own. I wouldn't want to necessarily have ask for any professional's advice necessarily. That if I was given the opportunity to ask my comic idol one question, it would be something a bit more personal like that, really, just because I want new outfits.
Richard Pryor, and I'd ask him to personify any animal, because he's so funny when he does it. It's just amazingly funny. Yeah, anyone. Maybe a snake or something.
Like Doug Stanhope, like he doesn't really do material that you could throw into any club where people don't know him. Like I wonder how many times he thought, I need to just go get a job at Home Depot and stock shelves or something like that.
I'm a big fan of Billy Connolly, so if I was going to ask him a question, it would be about like, how do you really structure your stories, and how do you kind of hang the jokes off them? Like how do you plan it? But I'm also a big fan of Victoria Wood, and I like the stuff that she's done, but it's a very different style. And I know she's done stand up, but like I've been more a fan of like the other stuff she's done, like the other stuff she's been involved in, like the comedy sketches and various bits. So like asking her, it would be a slightly different style of thing, because it's not directly related to stand up. So I'm not sure what it'd just be more of a conversation than a question, I would imagine.
Probably ask Amy Schumer to let me work on a show with her. Let me be in one of her sketches. Like, babes, give me a part. I don't know, because I don't know if I'd ask any advice, because when you ask people advice, like I said earlier, I have had some good advice, but sometimes it doesn't apply to you, like especially if they're in America or whatever, and you want to say, oh, how can I get better gigs or whatever, it might not be relevant.
That's a difficult one, really. I guess Andy Kaufman would be like, who are you trying to amuse the audience or yourself? And what do you think is more important to do? Because I'd like to hear his response to that, because of course it's important to amuse yourself. I know that sounds bad, but if you're just doing it for the audience, if you're making jokes which you feel are just for the audience, you're not going to enjoy yourself. You need to make that balance between audience and yourself, really, because comedians I've seen, I know they don't find that joke funny. I know they're only telling it because they think it will get an audience reaction. And I think that's the worst thing you can ever do as a stand-up comedian, is just talk about, I got my dick out the other day. It's like, fuck off, mate, come up with a joke. And Andy Kaufman very much did it. He was the opposite end. Everything he did was to amuse himself. Sometimes it was brilliant. It's brilliant to watch it. I don't know how it was for the audience, and I do feel like a comedian really should entertain the audience rather than just entertain themselves, and also for future generations who will watch a video and laugh at the audience, because it's a bit unfair. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to talk to Andy Kaufman, because he's one of my great heroes of comedy.
Speak to Robin Williams. What I would ask him, I have no idea. I would probably say, do you want to go get some dinner, and then just talk to him the entire time, just and listen to him, and just pick his brain and just laugh at him. But I don't know. I don't really have a question like burning inside me that I want to ask a comedy legend or my comedy idol. I really just want to spend time with them. I want them to be my friend. I want to be John Cleese's friend. I want to be Spike Milligan's friend. It's hard because he's dead, but same with Robin Williams, sadly enough. yeah, it was more not really that I have a question. I just want to be involved in their life.
I can't think of who my comic idols are. I mean, I suppose people who I was inspired by when I started out, someone like Brian, I suppose I'd say to Brian, what happened?
I think the person I would ask was a chap called Ken Goodwin. And if anyone, he's an old school comedian, and again, in those days they had a big barrel full of jokes which everybody shared, and they, kind of all used them, and they all told them in all different styles. And he had a really, really infectious laugh. But I also wondered about the working men club circuit that he played at that time, and about making a living. I'd love to just chat to him about that, I think, and just find out, what it was like. Because that's kind of like, in my mind, and kind of my generation's mind anyway, what comedians were. They went to working men's clubs and they made their money going to do this, and that's how they lived life as a comedian. The television thing wasn't really around that much, and also the fact that whilst they had new jokes, a lot of them used the same material, so they'd all do the same jokes at different clubs. And just the way, as Frank Carson said, the way and tell them, that's pretty much what that came from, I think. So I'd like to talk to someone like Ken Goodwin. In fact, I'd like to talk to Ken Goodwin if he was still around. I'd like to talk to him and find out, what that kind of era was like. I think that would be quite a great conversation.
Richard Pryor, it's hard to ask Richard Pryor anything about his personal life because he's been so naked. He's been the most honest. I think he's more honest than Jesus Christ. Do you know? I really do. And I know it's a controversial thing to say, but I know more about Jesus, more about Richard Pryor than I know about Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? Richard Pryor was really honest. So while he's my idol, I don't know what questions I'd ask him personally. I think like Louis C.K. is another one that I really, really admire, and I'd probably have more questions for him because he went from one style to another dramatically, which is kind of what Richard Pryor did. Richard Pryor, in a different way, Richard Pryor used to copy Bill Cosby because he thought that's the way to get famous. And then he broke out of it and found his voice. Louis C.K. was the other way. Louis was just being Louis and had the same set for 15 years. And then he emulated Carlin, and it changed, and then he became famous. So they kind of were the opposites. But I think from a Louis C.K., I'd ask Louis, what would you have done differently those first 15 years? What would you do? What do you think would have got you to where you got faster in those 15 years?
Chris Rock, I love Chris Rock. And what would I ask him? If he could take me under his wing, teach me how to write comedy. Because I'm having a writer's block at the moment. I'm struggling, sometimes I struggle writing. I think I'm sitting there for ages thinking, what am I going to write? But sometimes I think you just got to just go with the flow of the universe and just, when something happens, just pop it down. Sometimes I think, do you have to have a set amount of time a day to write comedy, or do you just do it when you're out and about or something pops into your head? So, yeah, but I love Chris Rock, man. Take me under your ring, Chris. I'd love to meet him. Yeah, I want to rub him. I hope it's contagious what he has, because he's great.
To the Lord of the Rings franchise. I mean, that's a franchise so fantastical that they haven't got any black people in it whatsoever, not one spot on a domino. And their themes are always like dark versus the light, and the orcs, goblins, and trolls suspiciously look like black people. I mean, I think they should have an all-black Lord of the Rings. Call it Lord of the Bling. And instead of a ring, maybe they should have like a big fat knuckle duster embedded with diamonds and throw in some Mr. T fat gold rope chains to match. And I think the obvious choice for Gandalf would be Morgan Freeman with his big grey puffy afro. And I think the other wizard would have been Cosby if he didn't go around raping and drugging women with his magical sleeping elixir. So he can go and sit on that empty naughty chair. But we could have the Smith family, they're nice and wholesome, the Smith clan. Will could play Aragorn, Jada could play Lady Elf, Willow kind of looks like Gollum, so she could play his role, and Jaden could be Frodo. I mean, I am biased, I am Smith, blacksmith, commoner's muck. I could play an orc, a goblin, or a troll. And we could have happy adventures on the way to Mordor, and when you get there, have ye old chicken feast, because you know how black people love the chicken. I mean, even James Bond, have you ever, I know it's about black alternatives, but James Bond, who ever heard of a black guy called James Bond? I mean, if you did have a black guy, he'd have to be called Jermaine Babatunde or something like that. Hey, I'm Babatunde, Jermaine Babatunde, 007. And what self-respecting black dude would turn informer? I mean, black Bond movies would have to be called Spy for Die, or In Farm Off Your Dead. I mean, get over it, people. There's never going to be a black Bond. I mean, if there was a black Bond, what would be next? Like a white Shaft? Unless he was in jail, maybe he'd have a chance of being shafted. But, yeah.